Art of Weather. Alright, let's talk about one of the smartest and most creative fighting styles in One Piece, Art of Weather. This is Nami's signature style, and it's all about controlling the weather using her Clima-Tact. Basically, she turns natural phenomena into deadly weapons. This fighting style gives Nami some serious battlefield control. Unlike melee fighters, who have to get up close and personal, she can manipulate the weather from a safe distance, setting up storms, lightning strikes, or even mirages to mess with her enemies. And let's not forget, her Clima-Tact has gone through multiple upgrades, from a basic weather stick to a full-blown weather-manipulating powerhouse. But it's not perfect. Nami completely relies on the Clima-Tact. If she loses it, well, let's just say her hand-to-hand combat skills are not good. Art of Weather also requires a deep understanding of meteorology and some quick thinking. But yeah, Nami's a genius, so that's no problem for her. This fighting style has come a long way. Back in Alabasta, Nami was just predicting the weather. By Eni's lobby, she had the basic Clima-Tact. Then, after her time in Weatheria, her abilities got a massive upgrade. And now, she's rocking Zeus-powered attacks that can take down some serious threats. Remember Ulti from the Beast's Pirates? Yeah, Nami fried her with a lightning strike, proving that Art of Weather isn't just some gimmick. It's a legit fighting style that can hold its own against the best. We really appreciate everyone who helped us reach like 4,000 subscribers last month. Our next goal is 1,000 subscribers. Of course, we will need to improve more in every aspect, but we still need your support, so if you haven't subscribed yet, please do it. Thank you very much. Now, Blackleg Style. Blackleg Style is all about raw power and insane speed, using nothing but kicks to destroy enemies. No punches, no weapons, just straight up legwork. It's a style built for both offense and mobility. So what makes Blackleg Style so good? First off, it packs a serious punch, or, well, a kick. When combined with Diable Jambe, where the user literally sets their leg on fire, the damage skyrockets. Moreover, Sanji doesn't just fight solo, he can sync up with his crew for some crazy combos. But it's not all perfect. The biggest downside is stamina. Keeping up the power level for extended fights, especially when using Diable Jambe, drains a ton of energy. And against opponents with special weapons or weird devil fruit abilities, relying only on kicks can put the user at a disadvantage, unless they've got some solid backup. Now, let's be real. Sanji is the absolute master of Blackleg Style. He learned the basics from Zeph, but over time, he turned it into something uniquely his own. Before the time skip, he mostly relied on strong, simple kicks, but after training at Kamabaka Kingdom, don't ask, he leveled up big time. Skywalk and Blue Walk made him even more unpredictable, letting him fight mid-air or underwater. And now, with his latest power-ups, he's fine-tuned Blackleg Style into a next-level combat technique, making him one of the deadliest fighters in the crew. Sanji might not use his hands in a fight, but trust me, when this guy throws a kick, it hurts. Colors Trap. Unlike most combat techniques that rely on brute force, Colors Trap plays a whole different game. It's all about mind control through colors and symbols. Yeah, you heard that right. Instead of punching people in the face, the user manipulates their thoughts and actions just by messing with their perception. One of the biggest advantages of Colors Trap is that it lets the user completely control opponents without even touching them. It's especially effective against people with, let's say, simple minds. Yeah, looking at you, Luffy. With the right setup, the opponent basically becomes a puppet, following whatever subconscious command the colors tell them. No energy wasted, no real risk, just pure psychological warfare. Of course, no technique is perfect. Colors Trap depends entirely on keeping those color symbols intact. If they get erased, covered, or just ignored, the whole thing falls apart. And let's not forget, it's useless against strong-willed opponents. If someone has serious mental resilience, or is just too pissed off to care, like Zoro for example, they can straight up ignore the effects and continue the beatdown. Only one person has truly mastered this style, Ms. Goldenweek. As an artist who can use colors to manipulate minds, she turned what seems like an innocent hobby into a full-blown combat technique. She's not your typical fighter, but that doesn't mean she can't win fights. Instead of brute strength, she uses creativity and strategy to outplay her enemies. Definitely not someone you want to underestimate. Electro. It's electric warfare. The mink tribe has a crazy ability to generate and control bioelectricity, letting them zap enemies with their fists, weapons, or even just by touching them. Electro attacks can burn, paralyze, and completely mess up opponents, making it a vicious advantage in battle. Every single mink can use it. Yeah, unlike hockey or devil fruits, where some people get lucky and others don't, Electro is basically built in for the mink tribe, from kids to battle-hardened warriors. This makes the entire tribe a force to be reckoned with. And when they enter their Sulong form, Electro gets even crazier, letting them unleash constant high-voltage attacks that can fry enemies in seconds. And it works insanely well in group battles. Just look at Carrot and Wanda's Moon Raid technique. Using Electro together, they landed a serious hit on Charlotte Perospero, one of Big Mom's top commanders. Like any fighting style, Electro has its weaknesses. For starters, it depends on the user's stamina and skill level. If a mink is too weak or inexperienced, their Electro won't pack as much punch. Also, some enemies just don't care about electricity. Think of people with strong defenses or straight-up immunity to lightning-based attacks, like maybe a Nell if he ever fought a mink. And then there's Sulong mode. Sure, it makes Electro stronger, but it also makes it harder to control. If a mink isn't careful, they might overdo it and burn themselves out. If we're talking Electro experts, Carrot and Wanda are at the top of the list. Their Moon Raid attack alone proved how powerful this technique can be. And when Carrot went Sulong against Perospero, that was some serious next-level Electro action. Well, at first, Electro seemed like a simple way to amp up attacks. You know, a little extra shock to go with a punch or a sword slash. But over time, it's grown into a full-blown fighting system. Minks have developed new techniques, learned how to use it more effectively in battle, and even found ways to combine it with transformations like Sulong. At the end of the day, Electro is the signature move of the mink tribe. It's powerful, it's versatile, and when used right, it can absolutely wreck opponents.
Fishman Karate and Fishman Jiu-Jitsu. These two styles, Fishman Karate and Fishman Jiu-Jitsu, are like the ultimate fusion of nature and combat, especially when water's involved. We're talking about control over water like no one else. These fighting styles turn liquid into a weapon, and that's dangerous. Fishman Karate is all about powerful strikes and defense, combining traditional punches and kicks with water manipulation. The crazy part, it doesn't always require direct contact. You can use the moisture in the air or even the water inside your opponent's body to boost your attacks. It's like throwing a punch without actually touching someone. So, sneaky and powerful, what more could we ask for? But let's be real here. This style shines underwater, where there's plenty of water to work with. On land, though, it kinda drops in effectiveness unless you're dealing with a nearby water source. Plus, mastering it takes serious effort, especially for non-fishmen. For example, Koala, a human, learned Fishman Karate. But it wasn't easy. And it didn't come without a lot of hard work. Then there's Fishman Jiu-Jitsu. It's less about flashy punches and more about grappling and throwing, but with a twist. This style also uses water to create lethal attacks, making it perfect for fighting underwater. When you toss someone into the water and can control that liquid, it's like you're controlling their whole body. But just like Fishman Karate, it struggles on land where there's less water around. Fighting on dry land, not so much. And Fishman Jiu-Jitsu requires a lot of training and control, especially for people who aren't fishmen. If we're talking about the ultimate fishman fighter, it's gotta be Jinbei. The man is a master of both styles, and he's done what no one else has. He's perfected them. But don't sleep on other characters like Karubi, who's great with Fishman Karate, or Hody Jones, who's a beast with Fishman Jiu-Jitsu. They've got skills, it's just that Jinbei's on another level. Over time, both Fishman Karate and Fishman Jiu-Jitsu have evolved. They started off mainly as defensive techniques to protect Fishman Island, but thanks to fighters like Jinbei, these styles have grown into full-on combat techniques that can be used effectively both on land and underwater. Fishman karate even managed to cross over to humans, proof that these techniques have serious staying power. As for Fishman Jujutsu, well, it's still the go-to undersea technique, perfect for those aquatic battles. So, these two fighting styles are considered strong for a reason. Fishman karate gives you explosive power and flexibility, while Fishman Jujutsu is all about control and precision. They're like the ultimate fighting duo for any fishman. Haki. Honestly, Haki is a very big deal in One Piece. It's like the ultimate power system that can totally change the game for pirates. There are three main types: observation Haki, armament Haki, and conqueror's Haki. And the coolest part? It lets you face off against devil fruit users, especially those pesky Logia types who are usually untouchable. Like, can you imagine fighting someone who's made of fire or ice and still being able to hit them? Haki makes that possible. Just ask Whitebeard or Kaido. Those guys were all about using Haki to take down some seriously tough opponents. But here's the thing, you can't use Haki non-stop. It's not some unlimited power-up. You can overdo it, and you'll be exhausted. We've seen Luffy and Zoro push themselves during their training, and even legends like Whitebeard had to deal with the fatigue from using Haki too much. So yeah, mastering Haki takes a lot of hard work and patience. It's not something that just comes naturally, even for the strongest. Speaking of strong Haki users, let's not forget about Goldie Roger and Whitebeard. These guys were absolute legends when it came to Haki. Shanks, too, is a beast with Conqueror's Haki, showing just how powerful you can be when you have it. And then there's Luffy, who's literally evolving his Haki with every tough battle. Kaido and Big Mom also showed how Haki can dominate, putting devil fruit powers in the back seat. Haki's journey in One Piece has been pretty wild. It started as this mysterious power that only a few knew about, but over time, it's become a major part of the story. We've seen how it works in different arcs, like Sabaody Archipelago and Amazon Lily. And the awakening of Haki? It's not something you can just plan for. It happens in intense moments, like Kobe and Ace discovering their power in crazy situations. Luffy, for example, just keeps leveling up his Haki every time he faces off with someone stronger, especially against Kaido. It's kind of like a symbol of growth, both mentally and physically. Hashoken. This is a very cool fighting style in the One Piece world. This unique martial art was passed down and developed by the Chinjao family. The core of this fighting style is all about controlling body vibrations in a super precise way, which allows the user to generate shockwaves with insane destructive power. According to Gats, when done right, these shockwaves are so strong they can destroy metal shields and even knock out some seriously tough opponents. The real kicker here is that these attacks can actually bounce back, so defending against them is not going to be very easy. But like all fighting styles, it has its weaknesses. These shockwaves can be nullified by stronger attacks. We've seen this happen in fights, like when Sai's shockwaves were countered by Idio's explosive punches, or in Luffy's fight with Chinjao in Block C, where Chinjao's Hashoken moves kept getting countered. These moments show that while Hashoken is a pretty badass fighting style, it's not invincible, especially against opponents who can resist those shockwaves. The best users of Hashoken are, of course, the Chinjao family. These guys have spent their whole lives perfecting this technique, turning it from a basic vibration control method into a complete fighting style. Over time, they've mastered how to combine raw power with unpredictable attacks that can throw anyone off guard. So yeah, while Hashoken is powerful, it's not perfect. It's still one heck of a technique in the right hands. Ninjutsu. Let's talk about ninjutsu, or ninpo, a totally unique fighting style in One Piece. Now, this style is all about stealth and secrecy. Ninjas use it primarily for gathering intel and taking down enemies without anyone even knowing. The biggest strength of ninjutsu is all about invisibility and ambushes. It lets users do secret missions with ease, sneaking in and out like it's no big deal. From weapons like shurikens and swords to special techniques that paralyze or blur the enemy's vision,
Ninjutsu gives its user a huge edge in surprise attacks and quick getaways. But don't think it's all easy. To master ninjutsu, you need some serious, hardcore training. It's not just a walk in the park. The biggest weakness, though, when you're forced into a direct confrontation. Ninjutsu relies more on strategy and surprise than raw strength. So if the ninja gets caught in a head-to-head battle, things can get tricky. Timing is everything, and making the right move at the right moment is key. Talking about some of the best ninjutsu users, yeah, we've got some. Reizo, Shinobu, and Fukurokuju are all top tier. Each one's got their own style. Shinobu's famous for using Ninpo, and Tan no Jutsu to create a smokescreen and vanish, while Reizo and Fukurokuju love to pull out Ninpo, Kanashibari no Jutsu, which paralyzes their enemies. Ninjutsu's journey has been pretty interesting. It's been around for ages, but it wasn't until more recent arcs, especially in Wano, that ninjutsu really got its spotlight. Rokushiki. Rokushiki is the superhuman martial art first used by the CP9 agents. This fighting style is made up of 6 basic techniques, plus a secret 7th one that only the true masters of Rokushiki can unlock. But here's the fun part. People who use it don't just stick to the basics. They get creative and develop their own variations and techniques, making them even more flexible and unpredictable in a fight. Some folks even specialize in a specific move. For example, Fukuro is all about Soru, Jabra is a beast with Tekai, Kaku crushes it with Rankyaku, and both Rob Lucci and Who's Who have mastered Shagan. Now, according to Lucci, if you're a true Rokushiki master, you've got the strength of 100 people packed into one body. The power of a Rokushiki user is measured by Doriki, which Fukuro can check using the Te Awase. The higher your Doriki, the stronger your techniques. Besides the Navy, there are some other characters who've picked up Rokushiki techniques, or at least adapted its principles. Take Burndy World, for instance. This pirate, who hates the world government, learned Soru and Geppo. And then there's Monkey D. Luffy, who, through his Gear 2, pretty much took the basic idea of Soru and cranked it up to 11. Sanji also got creative with Geppo, developing an advanced version that works both in the air and underwater. So yeah, Rokushiki is more than just a set of techniques. It's about being adaptable, strong, and a little bit clever.
Usopp's tactic. Well, this guy is a perfect example of how strength doesn't always come from raw physical power. Unlike the rest of the Straw Hat Pirates, Usopp's fighting approach is all about mixing clever tricks, lies, and some seriously creative gadgets. To put it simply, he's all about talking big and thinking on his feet. In battle, Usopp shows some insane creativity, turning everyday items into effective weapons. Take his hammer techniques, for example, Usopp Hammer, Usopp Pound, and Usopp Golden Pound. These moves look pretty strong, right? But in reality, they're made using regular stuff like frying pans and sticks that are cleverly disguised. The thing is, though, this style has a major weakness. It relies heavily on surprise and mind games. Once the enemy catches on to what he's really using, his attacks lose all their power. On top of that, Usopp's got a slingshot that can fire pretty much anything you can imagine. This makes him super flexible in combat, letting him switch things up and keep enemies on their toes. Honestly, this whole fighting style adds so much humor and fun to the story. It's like, who needs muscles when you've got brains and a slingshot?
The swordsmanship style. Okay, here's a fighting style that I haven't mentioned yet. Swordsmanship. This one's super diverse and unique, reflecting the personality and fighting philosophy of each character. The most famous example is Roronoa Zoro with his 3 distinct sword styles. Santoryu, using 3 swords at once, one in his mouth, creating powerful attacks like Onigiri or Tatsumaki. Nitoryu, using 2 swords with techniques like Rashomon, and Itoryu, focusing all the power into just 1 sword in special situations. Then you've got Hawkeye Mihawk with his giant sword, Yoru, a style that's all about precision, finesse, and destruction. Trafalgar Law combines swordsmanship with his ope ope no mai, while Kinemon masters the Foxfire style, able to cut through flames. Honestly, there's so much to say about this, so I'm thinking about dedicating an entire video to it. What do you guys think? Would you want to hear more about these epic sword styles? Let me know. Alright, that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.